Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I'll bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico Easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
You know, we have roughly 350 million people vaccinated in the United States and billions around the world, and virtually no one's died because of that vaccination.
Ah, yes. Virtually. Virtually is a key word you might want to pay attention to there. And, of course, apparently more Americans have been vaccinated than there are Americans in America or elsewhere in the world. Not that anybody's keeping track for Lunch Bucket Joe. Hey, Joe, you've got something on your chin. There's something on your chin. Not by the hair of his chinny chin. He's got more chins than what? Answer that because, Biden voters are out there attacking Asians. So you can't, you know how that goes. Hey, happy Monday to you. I'm back in the saddle again, as they used to say. And took a brief respite. It was wonderful. In America, my best girl and I, we traveled to the United States, which we like to do. We're fans of the United States of America. We live in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. Taxation without representation, and thank God for that. I know who they'd elect. Better steer clear of that altogether. And I want to talk about our trip to Michigan. We went to South Haven, Michigan. Hung out with family members, my family members, and not my best girl's family members, but my family members. And we're related, though, because, we're hitched. We got married and all that stuff. So legally and in the eyes of God, I think that we're family and all that good stuff. Although, I'll get into some of that. Although, proviso. It was wonderful, and what do we have? We had 7 nieces and nephews, 2 of my brothers, 2 sisters-in-law, although that's a little more complicated than it sounds, because, I'll get into that. And we met very nice people, very, very nice people, because it's Michigan. It's the Midwest. It's America. It's flyover country, which the Democrats disdain. They disdain, and they're trying to ruin Middle America and flyover country, as they refer to it, dripping with contempt. But we had a wonderful time. We rode bikes. Lake Michigan, it's one of your Great Lakes. I don't know if you're aware of that. One of the Great Lakes, there are 5 major Great Lakes, and Lake Michigan is one of them. I grew up along close to at least the coast of Lake Michigan, the beaches of Lake Michigan, on the Chicago side, on the west side of Lake Michigan. The vacation destination, South Haven, Michigan, is on the east side of Lake Michigan, which means that you look across Lake Michigan for sunset and things like that. And that means you have a completely different culture and a completely different society, because sunrise cultures are different than sunset cultures. Chicago, sunrise culture, you see. The east coast of Lake Michigan in the state of Michigan, sunset culture, completely different. People are nice and all that stuff. The east coast of the United States, sunrise culture. The west coast, California, Oregon, Washington, sunset culture. Completely different cultures. Just what I'm just saying here. So listen, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Some of it is Joe Biden related. We got the Olympics, where the ratings, the viewership, not very good. And the Americans, I'm happy to say, Americans won in the medal count. We won in the gold medal count. We won in the China. They're communists, They gave us the Wuhan, the Red Death. It's a terrible thing. And they, number 2 in the gold medals. And I think we beat them by 1 gold medal, only 1 gold medal. But that's, hey, a win is a win. Put it in the W column and move on. And we won in the silver medal competition. We won in the bronze medal competition. We won, therefore, ipso facto, if you're a statistician, we won in the overall medal count as well. See, that's how that math works. Like that, you do better in all 3 categories, and then you do better overall, too. And that's good stuff. And they ended yesterday, but with very low viewership. And I think a part of that is Well, there are a number of elements to that. But the left, they're anti-nation, at least our nation. They're not anti-Russia or China or Cambodia. They're just anti-us. Nationalism, they say, is bad. It's nationalism bad, especially when it comes to America, really exclusively when it comes to America. So they're anti-us as a nation. And then, of course, lefties poisoned the well going in, taking knees and doing all that stuff. So that's part of it. And viewership in the United States way down when it comes to television. NBC. Also, it was a weird year. It was supposed to happen last year, and it happened this year because of the virus out of the city of Wuhan, China, probably the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Not that anybody's looking into that or anything. And so it was delayed, and there were a lot of anomalies. Nobody in the stands for the most part. And there's some special guests and things. But I was glad to see that the United States was triumphant, victorious, because I'm a nationalist. And I like to see the United States win. Even if you say they got these, and we had some interesting wins and some interesting losses. Our track and field, our men's track and field, not doing very well, an area where normally we do quite well. And we didn't do so well. But we won lots and lots of stuff, and I'm happy for the people, the great Americans that trained their whole lives to go to the Olympics and had this kind of stepped on all over the place because of communism and Corona out of Wuhan and all that stuff. And, of course, the left poisoning the well and making people kind of turn away. They like to turn their back on the national anthem. Some of us like to turn our backs on the people that turn their backs on the national anthem. It's a cause and effect sort of thing. So we've got that going for us. Have I mentioned, I don't believe that I have, that we're at 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625 is the telephone number here. Absolutely free to you, our valued listeners. And we've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. We got this crazy Democrat woman, Cori Bush is her name. She's a member of Congress, the United States Congress. You listen to what she says, you'd think, oh, she's with Congress of Brazil or, maybe Paraguay or something. No, the United States. She's a pretty much mainstream, run-of-the-mill Democrat these days. She's not on our side. She's not pro-us by any stretch of the imagination. And she's got some crazy hypocritical stuff, naturally, because she's, a lefty. And the lefties are not liberals. They're leftists, and the left destroys everything. And they devour everything. And she is a Democrat member of the House of Representatives in good standing with the Democrats and the media. But I repeat myself. And she's got all this crazy stuff. She's got to spend, you pull the thing where she said hundreds of thousands of dollars she may have to spend on personal security for herself. Because don't you know who she is? There are only like 12 Americans that could pick her out of a lineup. But never mind that. She needs hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal security while simultaneously demanding that we defund the police because she knows nothing about anything and certainly about statistics. And she's an ignorant woman, ignorant as the day is long. On the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, she is just an incredibly ignorant Democrat, which is typical, really, these days. But she, not a hypocrite or anything, hundreds of thousands of dollars, American dollars, in security, personal security for her, because don't you know who she is? No, you probably don't. Nobody does. And but for you, nothing for you. There would be nothing for you. And so she is a giant, fantastical hypocrite. We got amazing stuff. September 11th families asking President Biden to not show up at memorials because he's a snake and a weasel, and they don't like that so much. So, and Barack Obama, speaking of hypocrites, snakes, weasels, double standards, Barack Obama turned 60. Did you see him? Did you see the video? He's morphed into Nelson Mandela. Did you see? He's turned into Nelson Mandela. He's got, all of his hair has gone not just gray, but white. Maybe it was the lighting and their giant tent with their millions and millions of people. Not a super spreader event or anything like that. Because according to the New York Times, they've researched this and they talked to people, experts, walking on the streets of Martha's Vineyard. It turns out that he only invited a sophisticated, vaccinated crowd who, don't spread viruses like unsophisticated unvaccinated crowds, right? And we've got all kinds of stuff because the motorcycle rally Sturgis, South Dakota, also happening. And remember last year they said it was going to be a big super spreader event, and then it wasn't. But they still like to spread the lie that it was, because they lie about a lot of stuff. They lie all the time. And they got Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci. He was on, I think, who was on with Chunk? I think he was on with Chunk. And on NBC, that used to be a Sunday show. Now it's just some kind of, but a news show on Sundays. Remember where there used to be these good news shows on Sundays? No more. No more. That's all over with because of people like Chunk and George Snuffleupagus and people like that. But the New York Times reporter said, I think to Chunk, said that because Barack Obama's friends are sophisticated, they don't get infected with stuff except, of course, for sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, which are rampant in their ranks, as everyone knows. Need to hose them down with disinfectants like elephants at the zoo after these things. But his big birthday party bash is, what is that, a $14 million oceanfront estate? He's not worried about rising oceans, is he? Because he said he would slow the rise of the oceans. Maybe it's just at his house. Maybe it's he didn't specify that it would be everywhere. He just said slow the rise of the oceans. And that's why I'm buying this $14 million oceanfront estate to get away from my $9 million Embassy Row estate in the shadow of the main mosque in Washington, D.C., because he loves that call to prayer. Most beautiful sound he's ever heard. Not really on our side. But the guests, you see, they were great stuff because they said they're going to have 500, 600 people. And then there was some media about that. And they said, oh, well, is that bad PR? Does that look bad? Well, we'll scale it back. We'll disinvite David Letterman. And because he's a crazy person with a long beard and long hair wandering along the side of the road talking to himself something about Trump. Nobody can quite put their finger on it. And they said, well, we're going to uninvite a whole bunch of people. And then it turns out that there were 8.6 million people there anyway because he's so popular. And he's doing this dance. His hair is all white, and he was doing this dance. And I pulled the video of Nelson Mandela dancing. All right, because I saw it. In fact, my best girl saw it, I got to say. She saw the video first, and she said, look at this. Barack Obama stole Nelson Mandela's dance. And I said, what? And I looked at it. I said, you're absolutely right. That's precisely and exactly how Nelson Mandela has always danced with the kind of, he steps, he's always kind of an old guy. And, even when he was young. And he kind of stepped back and forth from his right foot to his left foot. Elbows bent, not too much movement. And kind of not fists, but the finger is closed a little bit. And just his little hands going up and down like this. And can you see this? Just going like this with his elbows bent. And he's got the Nelson Mandela dance down and the white hair. And he's aged a lot since he left. A lot of people age when they're in the presidency. He aged when he left because he could no longer slow the rise of the oceans, except at his house. And they made him delete photos. Did you see this? They're like the Stasi. They're like the Soviet Union. It's like East Germany. And they delete Instagram posts. Everybody guessed at Obama's birthday party, delete Instagram posts, except for this one woman who's got, I think she might be a little wacky, but she was there, and Barack Obama was doing his Nelson Mandela impersonation behind her. Some video of that slipped out. And then the New York Times reporter who said she was on CNN, and they were talking about how it's okay that Barack Obama was having a big super spreader event birthday party for himself, as long as there are no Republicans there, because those are super spreader events. Democrats, they're sophisticated. I mean, I think this is kind of like the new clean, bright, and articulate of, it really is. It was Joe Biden that described, and I apologize, it wasn't clean, bright. It was articulate, bright, and clean. ABC. That's how I always remember it. First mainstream black guy to come along who's articulate, who's bright, and who's clean. Clean. He's the first, Joe Biden said, black guy to come along who's clean. That's what he said.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Yeah. That's a storybook, man. Here's my daughter. Here's the he's clean. See, he's clean. He scrubs up real good. Somebody scrubbed him real good. And now this is the new one, the sophisticated, vaccinated crowd. It's sort of, the deplorables over here, racist, misogynist, the Hillary Clinton depiction describing Americans. And then if you're an Obama person, the New York Times describes you as sophisticated, vaccinated crowd. And, she'll, was it Allie Watkins? Because she'll have sex with sources, the New York Times reporter. I don't know if you know about that, but she will. We got kids and school masks, school coming back. And Ron DeSantis in Florida standing up for freedom. The left, that would include the media, just authoritarian in their orientation for everything. Got this Rhode Island Democrat talking about Lindsey Graham. Did you see this, Lindsey Graham? I've been gone for a while, too. We had another suicide attack by a cop-hating Democrat at the Pentagon while I was gone. Another suicide attack on the news media don't depict it that way because it would be too close to the truth. I got O.J. Simpson news today. Well, it's Victor, right? Victor got the O.J. Simpson. It's a great O.J. Simpson story. I love this O.J. Simpson story. That's coming up. And, oh, boy, I was gone for a week, so I got a lot of catching up to do. Andrew Cuomo, he's the governor. He's not going anywhere. You know, he can grope anybody he wants. Oh, and Joe Biden. You see Joe Biden sniffing another little girl while I was gone. What a creep. What's with that creepy sniffing the little girl stuff? Let go of my daughter. I go over and smack the guy, have to risk being shot by the Secret Service, have to go over and smack this guy sniffing your little daughter like that. What's up with that? Yeah, Governor Cuomo, he's had all kinds of talk while I was on vacation. Oh, that's it. The party's turning against him. He's gone this time. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show.
Carly from Mommy's Tell All. As a busy mom, it's hard to keep your eyes on everything that's going on around you, but you must always be mindful of your child's safety to avoid an accidental tragedy. A car is no playground. Never let children play in or around an unattended vehicle. When you arrive home or at your destination, always lock your vehicle doors and trunk and keep the keys out of a child's reach. And remember, look before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
If baby could talk, she'd say a lot. You'd know what she's thinking and what makes her happy. But unfortunately, baby can't talk or remind you. You're the one taking her to daycare today, and she won't speak up if you drive straight to work like any other day and never think to look in the backseat. Every year, dozens of kids die from heat stroke in cars. No one is perfect, so set a reminder and always look before you lock. Where's baby? Paid for by NHTSA.
Yes, passing notes in the White House again. Sir, there's something on your chin. Why, not since... That's right, Joe Biden with something on his chin and staffers passing him notes. Passing notes in class, eh? Sir, there's something on your chin. Did they pass him a moist towelette? A moist towelette. Might come in very handy there. Yeah, you know, you go away for just a couple of days, and it's amazing how much crazy happens. Just thanks to the Democrats. Oh, also absolute pandemonium in Chicago over the weekend. Unfortunately, that's kind of normal, with scores of people shot and nearly a dozen murdered, including a female police officer who was gunned down by a Democrat because, you know, if you go to the Chris Plant store on Al Gore's amazing internet, you'll see our T-shirts and coffee mugs that guns don't kill people, Democrats do. And that's key. It's a talking point that the Republicans should be seizing on, I think, but probably won't because they're not really very good at politics or any of that kind of stuff. Boy, but there's a lot of crime news as well. And the Democrats, you know, they're the party of criminals. Everybody knows that. And they commit most of the crowd. That's why they want to get the vote to everybody who's in prison, because they know that the pond has been well stocked with Democrat voters, what with all the crimes being committed, mostly involving guns. You see, Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, I want to get to this a little bit later on, actually blamed a little bit. She kind of slipped up and blamed criminals, I think, a little bit. Gangs, she blamed gangs, but also guns. You know, inanimate objects are behind it all. Democrats know this. They're going to attack inanimate objects as a way of fighting crime. It's like blaming cars for vehicular homicides. Another vehicular homicide. When are we going to stop cars from killing people like this? Princeton University, they're getting all, they're PC, you know how they are. We got the left-wing agenda at Princeton. That's coming up, too.
This is the Chris Plant Show.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I'll bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez today. Well, it's not even new. It's old, but I just discovered it, so it's new to me. Maybe new to you as well. It's crazy out there. AOC. Because Victor pointed it out. We got Princeton University today, and we got AOC last year. And I just stumbled across this AOC thing. I think it's revealing in a special way. And I want to get to that maybe in a couple minutes. But right now, here's a great headline for you. Woman sues McDonald's. You know, McDonald's, you know, delicious Big Mac. I get the quarter pounder with cheese. I think it's the number 2 meal with the big fries and the big Coke. Because they don't have Dr. Pepper. Do they have Dr. Pepper? I don't think they do. Woman sues McDonald's after complaining that a cheeseburger advertisement was so irresistible that it caused her to break her fast during Lent. So Lent, a nice observant Catholic lady, and she loves her McDonald's apparently, and she's very susceptible to advertising. So she saw an advertisement for McDonald's, and sure, it was Lent, and she was not eating meat, and she's eating better. But she saw the ad, and the ad was just too irresistible. She had to go to McDonald's and break her fast. Now, all of that is fine. But then you sue, you get a lawyer, and you sue McDonald's? She says, when I saw an advertising banner, I could not help myself. I'm guessing she has some problems with addiction. I think she probably has some other issues, too. I visited McDonald's and bought a cheeseburger, she reportedly said in her statement. Fox News reported that the lady accused the fast food chain of breaking consumer protection laws and insulting her religious feelings. She's suing McDonald's for $14 as compensation for sustained moral damage. I don't know exactly how to, but there might be, she sustained some other damage as well. I can't say for sure. But the Business Insider has the story, and she said, blame McDonald's for her lapse. She's from Omsk, O-M-S-K, which naturally is in Russia, because where else would it be? It's O-M-S-K. Omsk. And her name is, it's Ksenia Ovenstankenkova. Ovenstankenmankenstankenkoga. She's a Kova. She's one of the Kovas. She's an Orthodox Christian, said she was trying to stay away from meat and other animal products during the 6-week period leading up to Easter in 2019. So while, but it took her a while to come around. And now she's suing for $14. I'll give her the $14. Just go away. Stop bothering the nice nation, would you please? Absolutely crazy. Crazy people. Also, the Olympics wrapped up yesterday. And, Hunter Biden, he's a multi-talented person, as we know. He knocks up strippers, for example. He gets kicked out of the Navy for multiple cocaine use violations. He is a big business tycoon. He's an oil and gas man. I'm an oil and gas man. He's very successful in all kinds of business enterprises in Ukraine, country he's never been to. Oil and gas industry he's never worked in. Made $1 million a year at that, though, minus $4, I think, just shy of $1 million a year, and his best buddy, too. And he went on, the Today Show, and he explained, they said, well, do you think you would have gotten the job with Burisma if your name were not Biden? And he kind of explained.
I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Yeah, that's a generous understatement. Like every date you've ever gotten. Of course, the crack brings around some. And turns out he got, how many? What do you got? 3 gold medals in the Olympics. He got. It's like the Soviet Union. It's like Uganda. We're not really the United States of yesteryear. We're changing. We're morphing. We're devolving. I think. So it turns out he got, which was it a specific event or just a gold in Kraken and field? He got a medal in Kraken and field because his name is Biden. He synchronized snorting. He's excellent at synchronized snorting. And, of course, bong water polo. He's excellent with bong water polo. He just sticks his tongue down there and waddles around in the bong. And he won, he got gold in bong water polo, synchronized snorting. And, of course, crack and field. These are Michael Piercy's jokes this morning. Crack and field. He's doing very well. He exceeds in a crack and field. Nothing exceeds like excess, as Hunter Biden likes to say. He's an oil and gas man, too. He's the vice chairman of the board of Amtrak. He's a very successful career. And he said, well, a lot of things probably wouldn't happen if my last name had not been Biden. My dad, he was in the Senate from the time I was 2 years old. And then we used to ride the Amtrak train, and I'd run up and down the aisles. Yeah, he had a little engineer hat on. Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer hat, and he'd run up and down the aisles, and he'd with a whistle. And his father would sit over there smelling little girls, showing all his teeth. Being a weirdo because he's such a weirdo. What a freak show he is. While I was gone, he was doing more weird stuff. He honestly was. He was, and I do love again, if you're a Republican and your staffer passes you a note that says, well, you're on television and briefing the world, and the note says, sir, there's something on your chin. Sir, there's something on your chin. Not by the hair of your chinny chin. That's not hair. What is that? We really don't want to know, but there's something on his chin. How did he get out there in front of the TV with something on his chin? Why didn't they stop him before he killed again? Why didn't they? Sir, there's something on your chin. Now, if that were Trump, that'd be fodder for late night TV and Saturday Night Live and Bill Maher and HBO and Showtime and all of the various organs of the appendages of the Democratic Party in the media, the news media and the other media, all this stuff. Sir, there's something on your chin. And then what was it? What was the event? Because I was gone. I was on vacation, and I did do a pretty good job, I've got to say, of going and swimming in Lake Michigan. And there was a swimming pool, too, so we could swim in the swimming pool, hanging out with my nieces and nephews, my brothers and sisters-in-law, my stepfather and his wife, and my best girl, of course, and I had a wonderful week in South Haven, Michigan. And I didn't follow a lot of the news. I really didn't. I did a pretty good job of, putting it down, put the keyboard down, step away from the internet. And the television, I guess they had satellite television or some place we were staying, but watched almost no news at all. Still somehow, things slip in over the transom. People text me things and stuff like that, like, "Sir, there's something on your chin," and the video of Joe Biden sniffing a little girl again with his eyes closed, breathing deeply like Peter Lorre in the Fritz Lang movie M. It was keep him away from the children. This is a creepy habit that he has. And he was doing, what was that? It was a bill signing. It was a bill signing ceremony, and there was a little girl, a little tiny girl, and the President of the United States got her in his claws and his clutches and breathing very deeply, sniffing in. What is up with that? Somebody should ask that question. What is up with that, I think. All right, listen, there are, where's my, I have a sheet. We like to call it a cut sheet. It's a sheet with cuts on it. That's audio actualities, sound bites, and stuff like that. We got a little Mika Brzezinski because she's crazy too. And Anthony Fauci, we've got all kinds of stuff. But you know what I want to do? I want to go to this, where is the, and we do have a number of audio sound bites on Governor Cuomo. Speaking of groping and inappropriate touching and stuff, what is it with Democrats and sexual deviancy? Honestly. You guys, and this is why they love the NBC video. Remember that NBC leaked, and they fired that guy. I don't even remember his name. He's been erased from public memory. Because he giggled when President Trump talking about, grabbing on women. And they're like, oh, look at this. We got one. We got a Republican who does it, too. And that's why they were so excited about that. NBC leaked the tape. NBC Network, highest levels of NBC leaked it because they wanted to undermine the Republican nominee for the presidency. And they also do it because they know that they just do this kind of stuff. They're all Bill Clinton. They're predators. It's a sexually predatory party. Would that be fair to say? You go to the Chris Plant store, guns don't kill people, Democrats do. We should have a groping. Maybe not. We'll think about that. All right, let's go to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think that Victor sent me a story on this too, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a leftist, and she's not very bright. And she did, and it was, the purple-haired LGBTQIAA soccer player woman, Megan Rapinoe. Am I saying that correctly? Megan Rapinoe. Yeah, Rapinoe. It's Megan Rapinoe. Yeah, she's not a Native American tribe. She's Megan Rapinoe. And Megan Rapinoe, it's, women's soccer. It's like, another 0-0 victory for no one. Another 3 hours down the drain. Nothing happened. Not a single score. Isn't it wonderful? But the Megan Rapinoe, Arapaho, that's an Indian tribe, the Arapaho. But Megan Rapinoe, who's very, very political, very, very political. And she did this HBO. Naturally, she got an HBO special. I didn't, but Megan Rapinoe did. And she had on, as her guests, she had the radical Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And this is kind of interesting. I caught only a snippet of this a couple of weeks ago before going on vacation. And my best girl, I think, was watching this thing on HBO. And there's AOC, and there's, Megan Rapinoe. And who else is on? Another radical leftist was on there because HBO just hands over their channel to radical leftists all the time. And she was talking, I heard her, and she was talking about how the Black Lives Matter movement was an uprising. And I said, really, uprising? That's kind of an interesting word to use because an uprising, I think, is a violent political event, isn't it? Isn't that what that is? And I heard her say, but let's play. I want to play, even though it's about a year old. I had never seen it because why would I watch Megan Rapinoe and AOC on HBO when I could, put staples in my arm instead? And here's AOC on Seeing America through the prism of radical left-wing, maladjusted, malevolent, misanthropic lunatics. Seeing America with Megan Rapinoe.
The other way I think you can think about it is that we are, perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring.
She's talking about the Democratic Party, obviously. This was not meant to last because, we're corrupt and we're unjust. And now, actually, that's what we smash. That's what the United States of America has smashed since the Revolution of 1776 and not 1609. But that's the opposite of the truth. And but this is her understanding this is her defining the United States of America as unjust and corrupt and a corrupt cohort of people. And it must fall. It must crumble. It's not designed to last. She misunderstands absolutely everything around her. It's quite remarkable, but she's not done. And here she is calling Black Lives Matter the biggest uprising apparently in history or something.
The Black Lives Matter movement looks like it is the largest uprising in the history of the United States, with up to 10%, blowing that figure out of the water, 10% of this country in the streets, and we still have not pursued serious change of any kind.
See, she was describing revolutions and saying revolutions require 3% of the population. But we have 10% in the streets because it's the biggest uprising in history. No, the United States of America, the American Revolution, the shot heard round the world. That's the biggest uprising in world history. Reality is. Now, but she used the word uprising, and I thought that was interesting because the English language is my favorite language. And I'm familiar with words, unlike most dim-witted bartenders like this person. Most bartenders are much brighter than her, based on my personal experience. But I decided to go to Merriam-Webster's dictionary and look up the word uprising. And I went to synonyms. And under synonyms, insert for uprising, insurgents, insurgency, insurrection. Wait a minute, insurrection, but isn't that what happened at the Capitol on January 6th, and isn't that real bad? But when she says that we only need 3% for revolution, but we've got 10% in the street, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I think it's so funny when Republicans say these people are trying to foundationally change the country, which is a threat to this country. It tells you everything about what they think this country is, and frankly, what it has been, which is a racial regime. And because I think these uprisings are directly at the root of power, of course we don't want to change them.
Yes, uprisings. That's synonymous with insurrection. Now, I think there's a pill for that. Bada boom. Apparently, Governor Cuomo doesn't need one, but maybe he does. Maybe that's his problem. But there it is. You see, she's praising a word that is synonymous with insurrection in Merriam-Webster's dictionary and thesaurus. And you get Emmys for that when you're a leftist and you advocate insurrection or a synonymous movement, and that is uprising, repeatedly uprising, calling for revolution against this terrible, corrupt country. And Megan Rapinoe with purple hair and some dental issues, she sits there nodding. And they also had Hannah Nicole Jones. That was the other radical on the show. And this is what HBO does. HBO hands over it was Nicole Hannah Jones and AOC. Oh, and Hassan Minhaj, radical leftists all. Time Warner, they own CNN and HBO. And revolution, man, insurrection, uprising, because insurrection is bad. But the synonym uprising is good.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show.
Carly from Mommy's Tell All. As a busy mom, it's hard to keep your eyes on everything that's going on around you, but you must always be mindful of your child's safety to avoid an accidental tragedy. A car is no playground. Never let children play in or around an unattended vehicle. When you arrive home or at your destination, always lock your vehicle doors and trunk and keep the keys out of a child's reach. And remember, look before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
A crying baby is impossible to ignore, but a quiet baby can be easy to forget. Every year, dozens of children lose their lives because otherwise attentive adults forgot they were in the back seat. It only takes a moment for a car to heat up to dangerous levels, even on cooler days. So get in the habit of always looking in the back seat and use reminders to ensure baby is always with you. Where's baby? Look before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
The Black Lives Matter movement looks like it is the largest uprising in the history of the United States.
Yes, praising insurrection, in praise of insurrection, synonymous with uprising, and that's good. See, she's a star. She is, and in this terrible, unfair country where poor little her, allegedly from the Bronx, allegedly Puerto Rican or something like that, tending bar, and then she's a member of the House of Representatives because there's no opportunity in this for women and people of color and, POC, BIPOC. And here she is sitting in Congress complaining about what an unfair country this is. She was, pouring tap beer about 20 minutes ago, and now she's a member of the House of Representatives, and she's all over HBO and every. Now, the headline at Fox News, CNN to air AOC special as embattled anchor Chris Cuomo goes on, quote, long-planned vacation, end quote. They're lying to you about the long-planned vacation. It's what they do. They're CNN, they lie. The Cuomo primetime host was also swept up in the New York Attorney General's damning report on his brother. And then you see that he covered up for his brother, and he was involved in strategy sessions with his brother and all this stuff. So CNN, I think that it's tonight they're going to be airing instead of Chris Cuomo's show because he's on a long-planned vacation. They lie about everything. It's like, what day is it? It's Wednesday. No, it's Monday. No, it's Wednesday. They'll argue with you about the basic stuff. So they're going to have a 1 hour fluff fest, a propaganda like in Cuba, like in North Korea, when they put things on television in praise of their political hacks. CNN is doing this fluff job with extra chapstick on AOC, and it's a mutual admiration society, a circle fest of the first order. So they're lying to you about Chris Cuomo being on a long-planned vacation. And then in order to fill the time, they're doing a propaganda documentary on how great Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. Isn't that wonderful? Just great. Wah, wah, wah. There's so much more. Don't go anywhere. Tons of stuff. Right here, tons.